Sandy Mayor Stan Pulliam grew up in the town where he is now mayor. He's considered a Republican frontrunner for governor, but can he take Mahonia Hall? Stan Pulliam is an insurance executive as well as Sandy's mayor. And Mr. Pulliam, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Good. Hello, Ken. Thank you for having me.
Well, on your website, you describe yourself as a pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-private property rights conservative. Now, can that win in a state that hasn't had a Republican governor since the 80s?
Well, absolutely. I think you look around this state from the crime problems we have to the vast homelessness that's not just in Portland, but it's infested every area of the state. You think about our children, despite being in the upper half of what we spend nationally in education, our kids go to some of the worst schools in the country. And you know what they say, it's the definition of insanity is trying the same thing and expecting a different result. We've had extreme left-wing control in the state for nearly 40 years, 4 decades, and this is the ramifications of it, Ken. And quite honestly, I think the entrance of Betsy Johnson in this race is a non-affiliated. She was a state Senate Democrat for over 20 years. She takes, in our internal polling, twice the amount of Democrat voters as she does Republican, just changing the landscape politically in this race. And so we're incredibly excited. We think we're going to do something that hasn't been done in nearly 4 decades. And once we're in there, we're going to be able to take our home state and finally get us back on track.
You recently posted a clip of yourself speaking to the East Clackamas County Republican Women's Club, claiming the 2020 election was, in your words, fraudulent. Now, what evidence do you have to support that claim?
Well, I mean, you just look around the country. You look over the course of this last weekend in Pennsylvania, a state that at the very last minute went vote by mail. Their Supreme Court just found that unconstitutional because it went around the requirement of in-person voting. And so you think about the state of Oregon, we've had, many years to get ready for vote by mail. But we had in this country in the 2020 elections, we had unprecedented changeovers for the first time in many of these states going to vote by mail. They had no idea what they were doing. It led to one of the closest elections in our country's history. We had this COVID stuff getting out there, all of the talking points. We had big media in social media that was heavily editing content that voters were able to see. We'll never truly know who won the 2020 election. I think that's a travesty in this country. And quite honestly, I can't believe that I'm the only candidate for governor talking about it, because there's not a single issue more important than the integrity of our election system here in this democracy of ours. And especially in a state like Oregon that's supposed to lead the way. We've prided ourselves on leading the way in vote by mail, which means we should lead the way in making sure that it's secure and that people feel good about it. I saw recent numbers that over 80% of Americans question the integrity of our last election system. Well, that's a travesty. We're supposed to be the beacon of light for the rest of the world when it comes to democracy, and we need to start acting like it.
Let's get into vote by mail. COVID considerations, as you mentioned, did expand vote by mail options across the country. Now, we've been voting by mail statewide in Oregon for more than 20 years now. We haven't had any major issues. So hasn't Oregon proven that vote by mail does work?
Proven? How many Republicans have been elected in this state over the course of the last 2 decades? And you look around the country, it's not just because Oregon is a left-wing state. We have places, all throughout the country that has more left-wing voter registration than Oregon that's been able to have Republican governors. And I'll tell you, Ken, as somebody who's out there in some of these close legislative races, tracking down some of these provisional ballots, I have personally knocked on the door asking for a registered voter to confirm that they're there, for the person there to say, you know what? John Smith hasn't lived here for the last 6 years. And yet somehow, Ken, that same voter has voted out of 4 of the last 4 elections. And so, if you're going to lead the way in vote by mail, if you're not going to enforce people to show an ID to prove their identification to vote, yet you're going to stand up and say that we need to show a vaccine passport to go in an Oregon Duck football game or to our grocery stores, I think we should all be able to agree, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, that we need secure elections, that we need to look at the way that we've been doing it. We need to audit it. We need to update our voter rolls, something that Democrats have not done in this state. We need to have secure elections.
Well, here's another reason why maybe a Republican hasn't been elected to major positions here in the state. About a third of our voters are non-affiliated. So therefore, they might be going for the Democrat instead of the Republican based upon the individual candidate. Can't you see that as a reason, perhaps, why Republicans have not been elected?
Well, I would push back and say, look at the non-affiliated numbers and look at how they've grown in recent years since motor voter. What we have now are people that go to the DMV to get their driver's license, and they're not even asked if they want to register to vote or not. They're just automatically put on the voter rolls. And so as a result, we see the voter turnout percentage declining year after year as a result of all these voters who have no interest in voting. But more importantly, now we have all these ballots that are just out there into the ether of people who don't even want to be registered to vote. And beyond that, I say we've had very close elections. Obviously, we had Chris Dudley not too long ago that was in a midterm election, with the advantages that we have now. So absolutely, Republicans have a chance. If you think about it, Kevin Mannix was super close back in the midterm of 2002. We have Chris Dudley's, as I recently mentioned, in the 2012 election. But Oregon wasn't where it was then that it is now, Ken. I mean, it was just a couple of years ago that we were on the cusp of becoming a world-class destination. Some of the best dining on the planet, craft breweries, the Willamette Valley wine. And here we are just a couple short years later, mass homelessness, more people being murdered last year than any year previously. Our kids going to some of the worst schools in the country, and yet some of the last to return to the classroom in this pandemic. And so I think people are looking around. We're going to look back at COVID-19 and say, wow, that was something that changed the entire landscape politically, both nationally and locally. And I think getting a Republican elected as governor is going to be a big reflection of that.
We've got about a minute left here, and I want to get to this. Your wife, Mackenzie, and her group, Oregon Moms Union, is asking that the Oregon Health Authority release metrics on when the mask mandate in schools should be lifted. What's your take on masking in schools and the restrictions in terms of COVID in schools?
Yeah, you ask about Mackenzie. I am so incredibly proud of her and the Oregon Moms Union. That started after she said if our kids had a union, they would have been back in school ages ago. It should be parental choice, like what Governor Youngkin, who I met with last weekend, is doing in Virginia, where parents are able to choose. Do you want your kid in a mask? Send them to school in a mask. But if you're like us, who don't want your kids in masks in schools, we should have the ability to make that decisions as a family for what's right and how we want to face this pandemic.
Thank you very much, Sandy Mayor and gubernatorial candidate Stan Pulliam. We appreciate you joining us for Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.